Hey everybody, Redbattitude here, and today we're going to attempt a post-match commentary. As you can see, a little bit of indecision at first on my part because I thought maybe someone on my team would take the home node, but they did not, so I went ahead and went there to take it. Now, I did not get the teams up as long as I would have liked. So the enemy team has two Untamed, a Dragon Hunter, Core Guardian, and a Tempest. So it looks like they've got decent support and a whole lot of damage. So I'm going to mid to try and support the team fight here, but one of our teammates breaks off to help our thief on far, so it turns into another 3v3 anyway, but we do manage to get one guy down here, and then we lose him as he gets rezzed, and I try to res my teammate using Rampage for the extra health and stability. However, there's just too much going on and I have to break away. So I'm really low here. I pop my heal and I'm just trying to survive. I also use my shout for a little extra. I realize that the Untamed is still on me, pressuring me. They really want to get me down. So I am just using everything I can at this point to get away and survive. And I go to use my heal again and I'm interrupted. So I switch over to my Warhorn for a little bit of barrier while I'm waiting for the interrupted heal to come back up. And I use that, and again I get incredibly low. I get dropped here on the far node, thinking I almost got away with it. We get their ranger down really low, so I'm going to pop my downstate 3 and hope we get this kill so that I can stay up. We get the stomp, and I do actually lose the debuff, so I will survive, and then we get another kill here, get interrupted, but get the drop here, and I stay on far to attempt to cap the node. But the other Untamed has now come here, and it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a 1v1, and I'm going to do everything I can to hopefully capture the node, which I'm almost there. Get him off the node for just a second, and I do capture it, and we continue to have our little duel here. So I've almost got him down, but he interrupts my heal again, and I just need to try and do better at actually getting those kill shots. But then Dragon Hunter adds into the fight, and I just have to go. I pop my Rampage for some extra health and to escape. Problem is I go straight towards the enemy base, so any other respawns will be able to add on to me. So I'm just trying to get to mid, but the Tempest comes out and catches me, and now I have to try and avoid as much of his crowd control as I can. I'm getting there. I do get reconnected with my team, but everybody just kind of goes their own way, myself included, and I just run out of cooldowns and I get dropped once again. I figure at this point I am dead, but I do notice that the Dragon Hunter gets down, so I try to throw my rocks to hit him for the rally. Doesn't quite work. I start to heal myself, thinking that my Mechanist is going to run over and res me. I am mistaken. He goes towards the enemy team's home node, and I just sit there, and thankfully nobody finds me, so I get the self-res. And I attempt to help the mid fight and realize that they just downed my teammate, so I would be running into a 1v2, not something that I want to do, and the Untamed here is starting to lay into me, so I have another teammate, so I stick with it, and we are trying to take this fight. It's not going well. This Untamed is dishing out a lot of damage on me, and once again I have to try to run for my life. I use some of the environment, and it's just not looking good. So I try to use my Warhorn again. I use my shout. I'm surviving. It's getting very hairy. I managed to sneak my heal in, and at this point I am still just running and running for my life. Feeling I'm gonna die, I go to Rampage again for just a little bit of extra health, some CC, and then I take the fight to the Untamed for just a moment, drop the rock on his face, and heal myself back up. And now we are fighting on the enemy team's node once again, but we do manage to drop one of the Untames, the other is still right here and shooting the ever-loving crud out of me. But I have a lot of teammates here to help me with this fight, and we get this Untamed as well, and once again win the enemy node. Now that we've taken this node, I'm trying to get to mid, but I notice that another enemy has decided to come and take on a bunch of us. And he's doing fairly well getting away. Tries to get the decap, but there's just too many of us, and there really shouldn't be 3 of us here just trying to kill this guy. 4 now that I notice, and we do finally get the drop on him, but that is going to really have us lose map control, although we do somehow have both of these nodes, but we are going to lose mid again, and we end up fighting in the middle of a couple of nodes here. I thought about taking on the Untamed, but I saw a teammate chasing him towards far, so I decided to go to mid and try to support the fight here. Now here at mid, the Tempest is here and he's in his Tornado, so I decided to use my Doliac Signet for stability so that he can't keep flinging me around the map, and he does take damage while in Tornado, so I focus as heavily as I can on him and make sure that we get him into downstate, which we do. I rampage and go for the stomp, but of course he has the invulnerable downstate. We do eventually get him, and then we are fighting another Untamed who is not trying to disengage, and we do get the drop on him as well. So I go for the stomp because the Core Guardian has arrived, but he drops my teammate, and then I try to go for the Dragon Slash 2, but somehow my Dragon Slash didn't go, which was unfortunate, so I ended up just using the regular Gun Saber 2, and because I did not interrupt his attacks on my teammate, the other guy rallied, and then I tried to escape, and I get dropped, and I use my downstate 3 again, but with targeting issues, I keep missing the Untamed, and I just end up dying. So at the moment we have the side nodes, so we're in a good spot. Our teammates are kind of everywhere, but they're really focused on mid and doing well. They did drop a guy. Now here I check our home node to make sure none of the enemies are going for it, but I broke a very big rule of PvP. I did not watch my minimap, and now our home node is being contested, and I missed it, and I could have turned down the alley and gone to contest the node. Instead, I continued on to mid, and right about here I started getting kiddo aggro, and I got a bit distracted and lost focus, and it kind of shows as I'm just beating on this guy here because I'm not even thinking at this point, and the enemy team starts converging on us. I miss it, and once again I am about to get absolutely murdered. So the enemies drop me, and they are everywhere, so there are definitely no miracles happening. This time I am going to die yet again, and all of the nodes are neutral. The enemy gets their home node now, and this is kind of where this is a turning point in the match where we just kind of start losing a bunch of nodes, and the enemy team starts catching up. Our team is all over the place, just we're all dying at mid. It's not going well. We need to kind of regroup here. I head for the home node because I see my thief is trying to fight all by himself over there, and he is fighting an Untamed, so I come in and just try to get the Untamed out of here and secure the node. If we can get a kill, all the better, but for now I'm just trying to peel for my thief. My thief is incredibly low here, and I completely miss dodging that Untamed's abilities, and now the Tempest is here to give support to the Untamed. Our thief gets dropped, and I use Rampage to attempt to get in there and interrupt, and as well as res. The Tempest starts knocking everybody around, but I have stability, so I'm able to at least focus on the downed and tamed, which gets my thief back up. And now there's 4 of us here, and again, it's another 4v1 situation, while the enemy team has 2 nodes and we have none, so they are catching up very quickly to us now. We do get another kill here, and the Guardian as well ends up going down because there's just so many of us. But the damage is done. The enemy team has map control. We finally get our home node back, and now we have to all try and push into mid, where most of the enemy team will probably be waiting for us. Now our ranger goes to try to get the decap on mid while we are all kind of attacking and absolutely destroying this untamed. The enemy team is respawned and coming in towards mid as well. There does appear to be a big fight on mid that I am just not focused on whatsoever. I'm over here trying to focus on this Tempest, and we get kind of lucky because the enemy team breaks apart a bit and we're able to get another kill here. Now, we do manage to secure a couple of kills, but my teammates had left mid to do so, so we ended up losing some valuable points there. We do finally turn around to secure it once we get this untamed all on their own. However, the enemy team does start converging, so I sort of keep close to mid while trying to focus on this untamed because I know that they are a bit of a threat with the damage that they can do. We do manage to drop him, which is pretty important. Mid is fairly safe, but we have lost both of the side nodes now. We do get another kill as I'm on my way over to the enemy team's node in an attempt to get the decap, and notice that there are 2 enemies here already. Now, our whole team is here aside from the Willbender, who is trying to get back our home node, and he is fighting an untamed on his own. We do get the decap, and we manage to get the Tempest, which is huge. So I decide to stay on far and complete the cap. I do see the untamed over there. My teammate's chasing him, and it looks like things are going fine, so I attempt to go back towards mid to help the fight there. As the big team fight is kind of going on there, I do check just in case, and yes, the untamed is coming back to the far node, so I come back to defend it because I see the score is so close. I am putting all of our eggs in this one basket, trying to hold this node, and hopefully my teammates can secure mid and we can come out on top of this one. So I attempt to rampage, but of course I'm in binding roots, so I don't go anywhere, and I just kind of feel like a silly, and the untamed just continues to lay into me, but I managed to mitigate a lot of the damage. I used Doliak just so I stop getting thrown around everywhere, and now the enemy team does have both nodes. I don't realize this as I'm just trying to hold on, and we end up losing the match. So all in all, though, a good match. I felt like I did pretty well. Did make a couple of mistakes that may have turned the match around just enough for a victory, but I was pretty happy with the result of this one. As you can see, I still had quite a bit of decay because I had been away for some time, and I hope that you enjoyed. I know I fumbled a little bit, but it was fun to give this a go. Take care.